acting foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing the mic just like I ran in Jules. And y'all gonna get done up front and on that kid with an attitude. But you can't really blame his mother for his food, what he had to do. Damn, I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish when I started, I'm about that.
Top down, I know you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down, I know you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Nothing about it, want it, man, I can bring the drama. But it ain't by chance, I'm fucking rapping, you don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping like I'm starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is, hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. I'm about that.
Top down, I know you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down, I know you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Thursday, right? Thursday edition of the YSN Power Hour. It's been one of those weeks where you just don't know what day it is. But I got to say this. We have the best theme song in all of sports talk. I mean, there's guaranteed. That gets me pumped up every single time. Guys, let's start off with National Cheesecake Day. I'm not a big cheesecake guy, so I'll go last on this one. But what's your cheesecake, and is it something that you crave, or what is it for a dessert? JB, we'll start with you.
Just a classic New York style cheesecake is the best cheesecake out there.
Okay, Steve. Quinn?
Wow.
Sorry. I just had an interview with Steve, so on the brain.
It's raspberry cheesecake for me.
Raspberry cheesecake? Okay. On to EB.
Who's this?
Thanks, Steve. Dude, I'm an original cheesecake kind of person. Like homemade, give me the good stuff. Let's roll.
What is it on cheesecake? Is it the more it jiggles, the better it is? Is that how it goes? Like I don't know. I'm not a cheesecake guy.
No,
dude. It's gotta be thick.
Better it is.
Gotta be thick. Creamy, rich.
We'll get to you in a second, Richie.
Yeah, I'm not really a cheesecake guy either, but at Cheesecake Factory, I always get the Oreo flavor, and I'm a fan of that. So that's really the only place I've ever had cheesecake.
Okay, that works. Jamie?
Same with me. I really don't like cheesecake, but whatever's in front of me, I guess I'll try it, and I usually don't like it. So,
All right. Taking the Quinn Pushkar approach, or Steve today. Let's go to Michael.
Make that 3 guys that aren't big cheesecake guys. Just not a cheesecake guy.
Just chicken nuggets. That's it.
Yes, McNuggies.
McNuggies.
All the way.
Ty, what do you got?
I had a chocolate peanut butter cheesecake one time. I don't remember where it was from, but it was pretty good though. One time I had it.
And now we move on to Captain Chaos with an exclamation point. Go ahead, Captain.
Yes. My wife makes a mean strawberry cheesecake. So, anytime she makes that, it's the whole pan is divvied up a little bit between our guests who might be here, but I get the rest.
I got to give a shout out to Gary Leininger, our chief photographer here, with the owner of the Dairy Queen in Lisbon. The Cheesecake Blizzard, Strawberry Cheesecake Blizzard, is where it's at. Now, I'm a big ice cream guy, not so much a cheesecake, but you add pretty much anything to a Blizzard, and I'm going to eat it, just without even concern. So that's where I'm going to go for National Cheesecake Day, EB. Flipping the panels around a little bit. Guys,
my bad.
To get things started, a Class B recap, as we had some championships handed out last night, and one series continues on. You have the the dogs are back. Whose dog is it this time?
I think that one's mine. That one is mine. He's an idiot. Somebody pulled in the cul-de-sac, so he starts barking.
He is
Sounded
once
like
again
a loving
attracted to
dog
nature.
owner. All right, so the 14U Astros and the 16U Astros win championships last night as they sweep their series. We just had a great interview with the 16U manager, Steve Leslie, which is why I called Quinn Steve. And then you had the MVP of the series, AJ Havrilla, and the ace of the staff, Anthony Miller. A great interview. They were awesome to talk to. very humble. Both of them going to be in the Futures game. So if you haven't checked that interview out, make sure you do so. The 14 side will be able to catch up with Scott Rourke and his team hopefully in the next couple days or so to make sure we give them some credit for their championship. But tonight we have the 18Us where the Astros were able to come back last night in convincing fashion. Just absolutely offensive heavy. When you look at that team, Richie, and we'll go to Michael as well, because you guys have called games for them. When you look at the Astros, are they one of the only teams that can make? There goes Captain Chaos. They can make this an actual series down 2-0 and possibly come back and win this thing. Richie, start with you.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, one loss in the regular season all year. They beat Creekside both times they played them in the regular season, and they got off to a tough start in the first day. I mean, you have one off day, especially in a doubleheader, it can hurt you. They get down 2-0 in the series, come back, they bounce back very easily last night. 13 runs in the fourth inning. I mean, it was a no-brainer. They beat them up pretty bad. And then today they got Andrew Russell as my projected starter. He's been flawless all year, just one earned run the entire season. Probably the pitcher of the year if you look at it in the Youngstown Class B Baseball League. So it's going to be a good matchup tonight. Creekside is struggling with a little bit of pitching because they threw 4 guys yesterday. They've thrown a couple more in the first 2 games. So I'm interested to see who they have left. And it should be a good series to end, but I think the Astros could definitely turn it around from 2-0 and they could win it.
Before we get to Michael, you all right down there, Captain Chaos?
Yeah, I had to shut the curtains and close the door, and he's fine.
We heard. We were on Richie, but we all heard what was going on. Michael, your thoughts on the Astros? They're making a series of it. Can they make the comeback the entire way, especially if Creekside has a short bench?
Now, Creekside, pitching-wise, they pitched a couple of guys last night that had not pitched the entire season. That should tell you how short Creekside is on the mound. The question is, do they go back to some of those guys that pitched just a couple of days ago? I don't know what they're going to do pitching-wise. They're very short-staffed that way. Does Creekside kind of keep those pitchers that were able to be so dominant on that first doubleheader of the series and save them for Game 5? I don't know what their approach is going to be. That would be personally my approach, maybe save some of those guys for a potential Game 5. But pitching-wise, the Astro Falcons definitely have the advantage coming into tonight. If any team in all of Class B can do it, those 18U Astro Falcons can definitely come back from a 2-0 deficit in a best-of-5 championship series.
It is going to be fun to watch, and it will be right here on YSN later tonight. Also happening last night, the 10U championship in Boardman, the softball championship, where Sluggers was crowned champion. So congratulations to them. You can read all about it we'll be able to read all about it on ysnlive.com. You can check out the pin ceremony on our Facebook and Twitter pages. And again, congratulations to them. We will have a doubleheader for the boys, 10 and 12U tonight, again on YSN. All the action starts at 5:30 right here on the network. Guys, when you look at all this stuff that is happening in the world, believe it or not, we're not going to start with Corona today. So I think a little bit of applause on that is necessary. We are going to talk with the MLB considering 7-inning doubleheaders. EB, this was one of your topics. This is something I consider. I actually brought up before the MLB inked their contract this year. I think they would be able to get more games if they just knocked all the games down to 7 innings, and I think it would be a lot more interesting because your starters would have a lot more CGs. What are your thoughts on them looking at 7-inning doubleheaders?
So I looked at it, and they had 2 proposals. They either do 7-inning games for doubleheaders, or the first game is seven innings and the second game is 9. Skimming through it and just really thinking about it, I kind of liked it. You know, baseball is kind of grasping at something to speed up the game, look for something to pique people's interest, get the youth, I guess, regenerated and reinterested in it. So if you do something like this, I know it's a traditional sport and it goes against what all the legends of the past think. But I think this might be a good way to get people rejuvenated in it. It keeps the attention span. You still get to keep a lot of your gentleman rules or whatever it is that baseball's kind of founded around, and it keeps things a little bit shorter for them. Which, you know what, baseball games take roughly 3 hours now. So if you're going to watch a doubleheader, there's almost a full workday for you. So now this, I think, will, especially on doubleheaders, will generate more people to watch because it's more feasible to watch, instead of now you're watching 2 games in 3 hours instead of 2 games in 6.
Just
So-
a question for Captain Chaos as we move to you. Do you actually have a cape on as well?
Oh, there is. It's okay.
All right. As long as we're all on the same page now. How do you feel about double headers with 7 innings? I mean, is it something that you as a baseball purist and traditionalist can get on board with, or are you saying that we're looking too far into this?
I think I'm good with it, and I actually like what EB was saying, where we could change it to being 7 innings every game, because I mean this season already is going to have an asterisk on it. So why not try to experiment with some things and try to get something happening that you can get some more interest in your sport? Because I mean, right now with no fans being in the stands, it's going to be tough for people to sit and watch the games at home. I mean, I watched a little bit of the Dodgers Astros game last night, and the Angels played their game after that. I can't remember who they played last night, but I watched a little bit of those, but it was a little boring, and I was like, all right, I just kept flipping the channels. But I think, why not try it? There's nothing to lose. What are you going to lose? I mean, you only got 60 games this season anyway, so I mean, I say go for it.
So we have a special guest joining us at this time, South Range pitcher Jake Gehring. Do you have anything to say to your coach?
I expect nothing less.
Thanks, Jake.
Nothing less from Coach Munson.
Wow, that is your coach right there.
Yeah.
What is that actually? That I'm sorry we're spending so much time on this.
That's okay. It was a 4-pack of superhero costumes, and this is Batgirl, but I flipped it around because I wasn't going to have a Batgirl symbol right up here. So
Batgirl.
Yeah. Well, it was for little girls. There's Supergirl, Batgirl, Spider-Girl, and one other one that they have, and I said this was the least.
The one. That was the winner.
This was the one they picked for me. So
we appreciate you, Paul, and all you do and putting yourself out there for us.
Jamie,
can you clean this up a little bit?
I'm all for the 7-inning doubleheaders. Kind of same as the first thing I said. Baseball, it's a long game. The year is weird, so why not shorten them down? Make sure you get them in and kind of protect all the teams that are involved. But back to what Paul said, talking about the asterisk going next this year, I kind of don't look at it that way because I think everyone's playing by the same rules. It's the same for every team, so there's really no need for an asterisk.
All right, I'm with it. I can see it. Richie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd be okay with 7 innings for a doubleheader, but if it's a single game, I'm sticking with 9 because doubleheader players are there all day. It saves pitching, it saves arms, and they also sometimes they have to travel the next day. So it helps the players, kind of refresh and stay calm during a doubleheader because that's a long day for them, getting at the ballpark at like 9 in the morning, not leaving till 11 o'clock at night some days. So it's a long day for them. I think if we shorten it down to 7, yes, it helps with the fans. They're more interested. It makes the game more competitive because every inning matters, and it also helps the players, and they could rest. So I like that for a doubleheader, but for a regular game, no, I like the 9.
I would argue the biggest purist of us all, Ty Bartell. I'm interested to get your take on this.
Well, and being the purist that I am, I usually do like the 9-inning games, even 4 doubleheaders. But considering the season and the way it has to be this year, I think experimenting with the 7-inning doubleheaders is probably the best move because you're already starting extra innings with a guy on second. You're already doing a 16-team playoff. It's probably the best thing right now to try and experiment and see what sticks, see what works, see what the fans, what the players like. And, you've got to figure that this has to do with what the Marlins, are going through right now because they're going to have to make up these games, or they're going to at least try to make up these games. And I think MLB is looking at it as a whole. Like if another team goes through this that might even be more competitive, say like the Yankees or something like that, we need to make up these games, try to get them to 60, but we don't want to burn them out with so many doubleheaders. So we need to do something here to save them.
I feel like I'm one of the few that actually enjoy the Texas shootout rules and extra innings. So I can get behind this. I just like, baseball thinking forward. So, not that I'm not a baseball traditionalist. I don't love the game because I do. But, man, being able to figure out some new rules maybe that work, or at least, like you said, try anything now because at the end of the day, this season it's the best time to do it because you can always just forget about it later. Michael, your thoughts on this?
Now, we're already maybe a week or so into the season. They got to adapt this within the next week or so because we're just starting out what's a shortened season. You lose a guy to COVID, that's 2 weeks is a sixth of the season. So you're already, a month into the season. If you look at this from a 162 game schedule, that's technically a month into the season, and then you're going to implement this rule. I think you got to implement it very soon and very quick if you're going to do so. But how did the MLB, if we're talking in the future, the 2021, 2022 seasons when there's more than likely going to be 162 games, how did they decide how to implement the pitch clock, which I have no idea how that has any relevance, but it's there. How did they how did they experiment with the runner on second? They did it in the minor leagues. So if we're going to implement this in the future and we're not going to implement it by next week, try it out in the minor leagues in 2021. That's how we've done all of our rules for the pace of play, at least, that have made their way to the MLB over the past 5 years.
Yeah, interesting. You got a jersey on today. Show off your jersey. Who you got?
I got the Devin Booker jersey in honor of the NBA restart tonight.
And
I'm saving my Luka one for tomorrow since the Mavericks play.
JT's got his jersey on too. A little North Carolina shout out.
Just for Quinn.
Speaking of Quinn and the Betos Hitting Academy, let's start with Quinn Pushkar.
Don't care. Jeff, your turn. Dude, baseball's too long anyway. Keep it. Make all games 7 innings. Get it over with.
I don't see it really being that. Like Quinn kind of pooped on it, but that's okay. But I like the idea. If you're going to do a doubleheader, do 7 innings. Like you said, DJ, that you see a lot more complete games that way. Garrett Cole went 6.5 innings last night, so you probably would try to stretch him out for the whole 7-inning game. And if it goes and works and the fans like it, why not do it for the whole season next year when we try to get 162 games?
I can get behind that. Quinn, dynamite drop in as always. We appreciate you. Let's get on to another topic. This one you might have an opinion on, believe it or not. It's around basketball, the round thing that you typically put into a bucket. NCAA March Madness expansion. EB, I know this was one of your topics that you wanted to bring, but let's start with Quinn because he's been on fire lately.
Yeah, thanks. They've tried expanding it before. They made it to 68. I got to look into it a little bit more into what the newest one was.
I don't think he read the text.
No, not at all.
Yeah, all right. On to EB.
So pretty much the backstory behind it is it's for just 1 year, and they're looking to expand it to 90 or 96 teams. And what would happen is if you win your conference, you get an automatic bid. If you win your conference tournament, you get an automatic bid, and you're only playing conference games. So it eliminates all non-conference games. So you'd lose all these tournaments and whatnot that you get at the beginning of the year. And, when Duke and Kentucky go play Robert Morris or, whoever the little cupcake is that gives them a money game. Looking into it and reading it, I kind of liked it because it pushed and forced the conferences to get different conference champions, which I think we all know isn't going to be realistic because when you sit there and say, hey, don't go give your best effort in this game, it's just not natural for athletes, coaches, so on. But, for some of these other maybe lower level conferences like the MAC or the MEAC or anything like that, where the conference champion already gets a bid, now it gives a chance for, if Akron wins a conference championship like they did this year, then, maybe Buffalo gets it because they win the actual conference tournament championship. So, and then instead of your play-in games, which you have now, which gets you up to 68, it's now taking everyone, your first 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 in, next 4 out, and really making a tournament before the tournament for them to get the play-in games to get those remaining seeds.
Are you all in favor of, which is essentially a gimmick for the NCAA that try to garner interest in something that there's already so much interest in?
I think if they were going to do it, it's great for them because now they can recoup some of the losses that they had from this year. And then realistically, who would you rather see? Who would you rather see play? And Joe Lundardi, I'm going to quote him as my sources. He said, who would you rather watch, Texas versus VCU or whoever, New England State versus whoever else? So, obviously you're going to go with the bigger market teams. One, it's going to draw more TV deals, going to draw more interest. And if you're not going to have fans, then you got to go what's going to be the bigger TV draw. So, money wise, it makes perfect sense. Everyone's already chalking this year up as, well, it's 2020 or it's going to be the COVID effect or it's going to be whatever. So, shit, man, just roll the dice and roll with it. Let's do some new stuff. Let's do Elam ending in the NBA and really see what happens. It's I'm for it.
Did you have a wardrobe change, Paul, already with the cape?
Maybe.
You did. Captain Chaos.
He went from the black cape to the pink cape.
Captain Chaos, your thoughts? Is this a gimmick for the NCAA?
Absolutely, it is. It's a money grab. They're just they're just trying to get more teams out there to be involved so they can get some money. I mean, to me, I think you're just watering down the tournament, to let everybody in. I mean, if you're going to put it to 90-some teams, just say, hey, every D1 team, you're in a tournament, and then we'll just go from there. We'll start with 180-some teams and just whittle it down. I mean, but when they expanded it from 64 to the 68, I thought that was terrible too, because you're watering it down. You're just trying to get extra teams in there to get more money, revenue, and I think it's stupid. I mean, stuff like that, I'm a real traditionalist with. Like, there's 64, stick with it. There it is. The one I was thinking of earlier that nobody probably here remembers was there was a movie called Cannonball Run with Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise, and he put on a mask and a cape and would come out every now and then. And I think that's the one I think of. So
I got another picture we'll put up later. Let's go to the guy with the college basketball jersey on. Jamie, your thoughts on the NCAA and dipping their toe in these waters?
So usually I'm all for, tournament expansions. I love having more teams, but with what's been going on, they're kind of saying that coronavirus is going to be gone by then. I hate to already drop the corona in there. I know we started off the show not talking about it, but personally it scares me because if you open it up to these 96 teams who say that there's another outbreak, and then schools are going to be dropping out left and right. And I just think you should keep it how it is unless, wait another year, something like that, till it actually is gone.
All right, let's move on to Michael. What are your thoughts on this?
I'd have to read into it a little bit more. So, EB, you're telling me that the conference champion and the conference tournament champion, they both get in?
Correct. They get automatic bids, and the conference champion, so whoever wins the conference, gets an automatic bye.
You guys read the text? Like, he explained this.
Now, I know. I read the text. I'm just trying to clarify some things.
Got it.
So,
and it's only for 1 year. So it's
okay. I'm fine with
year,
that.
2021, and then it goes back to normal. So
unless they like it, right? Unless they like it, and then they're going to make a little bit of money off of this, so they're probably going to like it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm only going to want to see it for 1 year because it's going to be 90-some teams, right, upwards. Now, I didn't see this in the text. I probably might have read over it. What happens if the conference champion and the conference tournament champion are the same team? What happens if Akron wins the MAC in the regular season and in the conference tournament? That's going to be an issue.
Didn't read the text.
I did not read it. I didn't read that part of the text, clearly.
So pretty much they're making it a big push for these conferences to push other teams to win the tournament, opposed to more or less the whoever the champion is, they don't want them to win the tournament, so that conference gets more teams, i.e. gets more money.
So the WAC is going to tell New Mexico State to tank in the conference tournament, essentially?
I doubt it's going to be tanking, but they're going to say, hey, look, this game isn't of importance. You already got the bye. You're already in.
Well, yeah, if they injure their top player for nothing.
Right.
But I also think that there's an ability to, if you win the conference outright, just take them out of the tournament.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that would be the logical option to do. Now, if they do that, you get 90-some teams and these 36. I don't know what to call them. They're given the 36 teams that are given the bid that don't win their conference or their conference tournament. They're playing these play-in games. I'm all for more games in March Madness. I don't want to say anything, but I'm a huge March Madness fan. I got a huge fathead dry erase bracket in my basement. I don't want to take that down and put up a new bracket with the new play-in teams that are going to get in or everything. I might just leave that up and have to find a new place on the wall down there. But I'm all for more March Madness games. But it seems like it's going to be a lot more complicated. As long as it's 1 year, all for it. Let's push these more teams.
I speak on behalf of your parents. Do not write on the wall. Do not.
I'm
draw
not.
on
I'm
the
not
walls,
writing
Michael.
on the wall.
You
I am
learned
not
this.
writing on the wall.
We went over this. Richie, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm with Captain Chaos down there in the corner. I think it's all for the money, if we're being honest here. More teams, more venues, more TV deals, and the more money you can make in the stadium, that's what it's all for at the end of the day. They have to make up the money that they missed last year with the cancellation of the tournament, so I think this is all just for the cash.
I'm with you. Ty, your thoughts?
And it might be all for the cash, and I agree that it is. But I actually really like this idea of the 96 team format. And what I like a lot about it is because in the NCAA, when you're doing one games in a tournament, anything can happen. It's not like a 7-game basketball series where you always see the best team coming out on top. There's a lot of upsets that happen, and we saw how far Loyola Chicago was able to get in the tournament before. And I like the idea of having a lot of those smaller schools be represented. Even if it is for a year, it's another one of those, why not experiment and try it out, at least for the year, and see how it goes. I think it would be very interesting to see those smaller schools because there's actually some very competitive schools out there that could actually surprise some of these bigger schools if you give them the chance to do so.
Do we dare go to the top middle here? Do we dare go here?
Yeah.
All right, guys, go ahead.
I'll go first. Don't. No, it's a terrible idea. I won't.
He almost slipped.
I almost did. But it's a terrible idea. Like, don't do this. Like, it's a money grabbing thing. I get it. If you win your conference in the regular season, it doesn't necessarily say you're going to win it in the tournament. So what's the point? Like, if I'm winning in the conference, if I win my regular season conference championship, I want to go ahead and win that tournament conference championship too, and screw the rest of the teams. If you're not good enough to beat me in my conference tournament, that's on you, not on me. It's terrible.
Q?
Yeah, I mean, the only way that this could work is if you take out those conference, like the regular season champion, out of the conference championship. That's the only way I can see this working. Because, I mean, you think about the ACC, if Duke wins their regular season and they're in it for the conference championship or whatever, you can't tell Duke if they match up with UNC to, hey, let UNC win or whatever, because it really doesn't mean anything for you.
A lot of good takes on that. I feel like it's a lot of hot and cold. There's some people that enjoy it, some people don't, and that's why this is so great. When you look at our next topic, it probably should have led the show but I'm tired of leading with things related to COVID. It's time to place our bets, right? The PIAA over in Pennsylvania, green light sports. Governor comes out today, a little bit about the restaurants, and it sounds like they're going to be closing at 10 o'clock, if I heard him correctly.
10 o'clock if you're in a county that has been placed on red.
On red, okay. So Columbiana County looks like they just went to orange, where we're located in East Palestine. So, guys, it's time to place your bets. Does Ohio follow the go-ahead that Pennsylvania has set forth, which they have not been in front of us the entire way until right now, of kind of putting themselves out there? Does Ohio follow Pennsylvania and say we're going to play sports but with nobody in the stands? Or do you feel that this is going to be the last straw tomorrow when Governor DeWine gives us the thumbs down? Let's start at the top here. Jeff, I know you're a little passionate about this. Talk to me.
I don't know. Our governor is pretty much.
You knew about 25 minutes ago.
I don't. I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say yeah. He gives us a green light to go ahead and go. I've been saying that from day one. I think he gives us a go ahead and go. But you just don't know with him anymore. Like, he had story time today, basically. And that's what his press conferences are right now. Story time. But I hope he gives us a green light and go ahead and go on sports. And I think you should. I think the kids should get a chance to play if they can, 1 or 2 games, and then.
You've got $1 to put on a bet. Are you going with yes or no?
Yes.
All right, Quinn?
Yeah, I think somebody had to come out and say it first, because I definitely didn't think Ohio would come out first. With Pennsylvania doing it, I think it's going to put us in a bad spot to where we have to decide, and I think we're going to go with we're going to play.
Okay. Michael, your thoughts?
Pennsylvania hasn't been ahead of this the whole time. DJ said that. Governor Wolf has been a lot more strict with Pennsylvania. They've been shut down a lot longer and been under more strict rules for for the whole COVID than Ohio, and they're going to greenlight sports. I don't think there's a good scenario where DeWine comes out and gives us a valid reason to halt everything, give us the thumbs down, and stop sports. I've got what? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, he's counting money.
I've got like $8 sitting here at my desk. I'm going all in. We are having sports this fall.
You can't spend your allowance when your mom and dad just gave you.
It's not my allowance. It's my birthday cash, Jeff. and I'd bet it all that I'm going to strike you out if we ever face.
Oh, get the shovel. He is buried him. He is buried him. Mackenzie for the kill.
Here we go again.
Ty, your thoughts, because if you got a buck to put on this, I mean, I'm getting mixed signals. I think you probably are too.
Yeah, I am too. I feel like they've always tried to like sugarcoat it and say like it's gonna happen, and then I feel like they always take it away from us. So I'd say $1 that it's probably not gonna happen. I hate to say that because I would like to see sports at some capacity this fall, but honestly, more than that, I just want someone to make a decision. Just tell us yes or no already. Like I'm sick of the wishy-washy and just like maybe not. Just give me a yes or no answer. What's happening this fall?
Ricardo.
Yeah, I'm with Ty on this one. I mean, you got to give us an answer, and it's got to be quick. I mean, teams are preparing to play their season. They're waiting. They're working their tail off in the offseason to get to this part of the year, and you got to come up with a decision. I think Pennsylvania, first off, making the call saying they're green-lighting sports is great, and I think Ohio is going to follow with that, and I'm going to take it a step farther. I think we're going to have some fans in the stands.
Richie, do you want us to take a screen cap real quick for your passport photo? Because it is like a perfect onset. Like we could take care of that for you right now. Like you don't have to pay anybody.
That or a
Jamie,
mugshot. One of the two.
no, mugshot we don't want. It looks like a passport photo.
That's
Jamie,
for your mugshot, Paul.
Yes, it should. I got something for him. Jamie, go ahead.
I think we're going to get the green light to go ahead and go with high school sports, but I don't think it's going to come tomorrow. I still think they're going to prolong it as long as they can. And if they do say no, I would see it coming on like a Wednesday before the first Thursday night game. But as of now, I think with Pennsylvania coming out, giving the thumbs up, hopefully we follow.
So you're saying it's going to come out probably right before game one, like on a Wednesday night.
I think they're going to let them go. They'll just kind of let them go, let how things are supposed to be. And if they're going to axe it, then they will literally axe it the day before the first game.
That's tough.
That would be tough. That would be. I mean, we joke about the rioting and people with pitchforks and torches, but I think if that happened, I think there would be a lot of butthurt across Ohio. Given that you don't just let them get ready and then at the last hour pull it, that would just be bad. It would just be bad. EB, let's let Paul have the last laugh on this. What's your take?
I think for Ohio, they're gonna ride this out till probably the second week of August. They're gonna keep everything as is until the second week, or they'll kind of pull back on the reins and say, hey, you can only do select groups until August, whatever, 15th or whatnot, and then they'll kind of let everything break free. That's just my take, and we'll do it just because it's been Ohio's MO so far is let PA do their own thing. We're going to look at it a little bit better. We're going to take our time, and then we're going to make a decision. I'm not sure if there's any rhyme or reason behind it because, like someone said, DeWine's time has just turned into story time every day. But I think we're gonna, you're gonna see mid-August, we're gonna get the green light to go on it. Now, as far as fans, I can see them kind of doing this in a tiered way, to where at first they start with either no fans or just parents, and then depending how it goes and what the numbers look like, they might kind of ease into, okay, we'll do 50% capacity to 60% capacity to kind of fill it up a little bit. That's just my take on it.
Paul, it sounds like you got some chaos going in your front yard.
Yeah.
What's your take on this, Captain?
They're peeking through the door over here and watching the show. The thing is the one thing that nobody's talked about, and I know we talked a little bit about it the other day too, is Franklin County, where the Pink Lush. All right. Sure.
It's Kirby.
Franklin County, where Columbus is they're still in. Got moved back to phase 1, and like a lot of their high school sports are on hold right now down there, and that's where the OHSAA is based out of. So for them to come out and tell like all the other counties around that are not in the red, hey, you can go ahead and start your stuff, and then right where they're based out of, they have to be paused, I think would be tough. I think they're going to drag this out, like everybody else said, a little bit, as long as they possibly can, and then finally make a decision on it. But it's going to be tough because I've talked to a couple ADs yesterday, and they said, in their opinion, they don't think there's going to be some fall sports this year, and they're not happy about it either. So
everything I'm hearing is we're going to hear something by Friday. And Governor DeWine, if you're keeping track at home, as people do, the bad news usually comes on Friday because it gives them 2 days for everything to kind of blow over. So keep your ears pinned to that television set and to the streaming devices tomorrow, because I think we're going to be dealing with some serious stuff one way or the other. Guys, we're going to take a break here on the YSN Power Hour. When we come back, we're going to talk Alex Smith returning. Good idea, bad idea. We're also going to talk Notre Dame joining the ACC for this particular year. We got a lot of hot takes on this one, because when their back's against the wall and Notre Dame is needed, or Notre Dame needs conferences take them in. Should they take them in, or should they let them play in their own sandbox like they've been doing for years? We'll also talk about the quote, or the question of the day: what is your favorite rivalry in sports? So noodle on that one for a little bit. We'll talk about what's on YSN tonight, and of course, the G. Berg Farms What's Your Beef? All that and more coming up on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at bairdbrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Hey, my Ohio friends, it's Mike Ditka, and I know great talent and heart when I see it. I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are average real estate agents, then there are true champions. Kelly Warren is one of those champions, and you have her right there in your own backyard. Kelly outmarkets and outsells every agent in the Mahoning Valley. If Kelly can't sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, Kelly will buy it. Get your home sold. Call Kelly Warren today at 717-2689 or go online to kellysoda.com and start packing.
And welcome back, everybody, to the YSN Power Hour. And leading off the second half of the show is going to be Alex Smith. Everybody saw that gruesome injury a couple years ago. Making a return. The dude has enough money to make it one way or the other, but I think he feels football is vital. Anybody that watched that great documentary on Alex Smith, was it Project 11? I think they. What are you wearing now, Paul?
What is that?
Anyway,
we're not going to a rave, dude.
So, is this a good idea, a bad idea? Do you feel indifferent about Alex Smith making a comeback, given the situation and what could have been a career-ending injury? Michael, we'll start with you on this one.
I love Alex Smith, and I love the fact he's making a comeback. He's been cleared by doctors, so clearly the medical staff and everybody that has been treating him with this leg injury after all those surgeries, they think he's healthy enough to come back, and I think that that's an amazing sign for Alex Smith. He's going to sit in a backup role, I believe. He's with Washington, and Dwayne Haskins is the future. He's grown into that starting role, even if he was terrible last season. He came into a terrible situation. But Smith coming back is great for him because nobody thought he'd be able to make a comeback. Some people thought he might not ever walk again. And now he's able to come back, and he's going to be the main backup for the Washington football team. Excuse me.
There it is.
I think that's great for Alex Smith. Great news for football.
I'm not so sure that he's not the starter at this point. Haskins was pretty god awful, and I know you're an Ohio State fan.
It's a bad situation, but yeah, he did not play to that number 6 overall pick that he thought he was.
Ty, your thoughts on this situation?
I think regardless of what team anyone's affiliated with, when someone comes back from an injury like that, you always root for them, even if they're coming in as an underdog to being a starter or what have you. I think it was the same way with Ryan Shazier, how everyone felt when he had that gruesome injury, and everyone was worried that he'd be paralyzed for life, and then everyone kind of rooted for him, even people throughout Ohio because of his Ohio State roots. But it didn't matter that he's from the Steelers. When it comes down to like specific players like that, you just really wish for their best of health. And when you see him get back out on the field like Alex Smith is going to do this year, it really makes you feel good about them.
Richie.
Yeah, I'm with Ty. Alex Smith had a lot of success in the past 4 out of the 5 seasons. Chiefs go to the postseason, so he's had success in his career. Got hit with some injuries, not his fault. And he's battled a long way to come back, and a player that has sat out for this long, I believe it's over 20 months or so. He deserves the right to come back and fight for the starting position.
If you're a GM at this point or an owner, do you hold your breath every time he takes a snap? Jamie, I mean, are you in on this?
I'm all in on it. He's cleared to go. Give him a chance. I was a fan of Alex Smith when he was in San Fran, and he was in KC. He came to Washington with a Cowboys fan, so a little disheartening on that one. But I'm rooting for Alex Smith. I mean, this guy literally almost died. He almost died. So I am all in for him.
We lost somebody. Who did we lose?
I think it was E.
He's coming back.
EB.
He's coming. All right, Captain Chaos. Did you change your name?
I think he deserves a chance to come back. Absolutely. Me? No. So I think that's without saying. But him playing, would I do it? I mean, I know the competitive juices in professional athletes is astronomical, and like they just have that desire to go out there and play. But I wouldn't. I mean, if anybody watched that documentary, if you didn't get a chance to watch it. It's pretty nasty. I mean, to the point don't have a sandwich sitting next to you when you're eating it or watching it because it was terrible. And to see what he had to go through, and all it's going to take is another shot to that leg, and he's done. So I mean, I get why he wants to come back. He wants to have that chance, and does he deserve the chance? Absolutely. Would I be doing it? No. I'd be sitting in my mansion with his kids and his arm candy wife with all the money he's got, and go.
Where did you get that mask? Is that the same pack?
No, different pack. This is actually a pair of glasses. So.
Oh, those are actual sunglasses?
Well, I put my glasses over the glasses, so
Okay, all right.
They gave it.
Why is there a chip in the one ear?
I don't know.
There's a little dent in your.
They're 10 and 7. Do you think I know what they do with their toys? No,
I would hope so.
EB, please help us.
So to answer the question, is it a good idea? Probably not. I mean, like Paul said, if you've seen the documentary, you literally see this kid or this dude, this guy, this man had his leg so disfigured from an infection that you could see his bone.
Yes.
Like absolutely. If you have a weak stomach, I would highly suggest maybe fast forward through that or not watch it. But for the risk reward factor, it's probably a once in a 3 lifetime type injury. But football.
He's still a first round draft pick, right?
Hey, look, if I'm Washington, you just got rid of your best left tackle, and if I'm him, I'm really start to reconsider some things. So
The
Calling
blind
Vince
side
McMahon. Hey,
is
is the XFL coming back?
yeah, seriously. I mean, that or I would get it if you aren't like the competitive juices or you want to be competitive. I'd start to get into being a quarterback coach, or if you're gonna do it to kind of like help out Dwayne Haskins, which by the way lost a ton of weight and looks really good right now, by the way, and that's just as far as a football player stance. And I know he had a terrible year last year, but it was Washington, so what else was expected? But I mean, it's still. I don't think it's the best idea for what you have. You have the millions. You have the wife. You have the kids. Go enjoy your time with that, because if it happens again, now you're set back not 20 months, but probably 36.
Yeah, but he's got the rest of his life, though, right? You know what I mean? It's not like he's 47 years old and he's knocking on death's door. I mean, he's in his early 30s?
Yeah,
38.
He's 38, so
Yeah.
he was in the same class as Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
05. So he's about
He's
the
37.
same.
Okay,
Yeah, he's
somewhere
a little
around
bit
there.
older
I
than
mean,
me.
that's crazy. I mean, Paul, how does that make you feel as part of the older generation on this show?
It's crazy. I mean,
He's Catwoman, and Alex Smith is going to be a professional football quarterback. So I mean, what do you mean?
And I'm older than him, so geez.
Yeah, it's kind of it's scary when you think about that. When everybody's like, yeah, you just count your blessings that you're still alive and you got a hot wife and a couple kids at home and just kind of ride into the sunset. I mean, he's still got a life to live. So I'm on the fence. I'm where Quinn usually is on this, and I'll just kind of try to answer for him at this point, because I know he's just going to piggyback off one of us anyway. So I'm just going to go on one side. Yes, I think for his family's sake, because when you go through an injury like that, it doesn't just affect you, it affects your entire family. And from the other side, he feels like he's got something to prove. Alex Smith, for those of you who don't know, is one of the most competitive people that there is in the NFL. And he wants to prove himself. And even if he throws one more pass, that's one more pass that they said he'd never be able to do along the way. So I'm on the fence on this one. I hate being there, but I've got to, because as a 35-year-old man, I know where he's at. I know what he wants to do. But as a husband and a father, I can see the other side. You want to be there for your wife and kids and make sure he's got enough money. He's good. He's all right. So, kind of play another game, I guess. Find out Parcheesi or something. Let's head over to the Betos Hitting Academy. That was on me. That was on me. I apologize. Start over.
So I would say, come back. Be the backup to Haskins and teach him a lot about what's been going on, because you see that Alex Smith did the same thing to like knew in Kansas City that Patrick Mahomes was the future and still went out and taught Patrick Mahomes not everything that he does, but taught him valuable things. So if I'm Alex Smith, I'm definitely coming back and to teach Haskins how to be a pro and how to be a better football player than last year. So come on back. Why not?
So you're saying be a mentor more than anything.
Yeah, that's what he's going to be. He's going to be the backup either way.
All right, Quinn.
I would kind of like what Jeff said. I would come
There
back,
it is.
but I would not come back as a player. I would not run that risk. He's arguably one hit away from possibly doing damage to it again. And like Bailey said, the line's terrible. Washington's terrible. If he was coming back to a situation where he'd be protected and stuff like that, then I'd say maybe give it a shot. But he's going to be walking into a situation where it's not a winnable situation for him.
Yeah, I thought about that, the winnable situation thing. What victories do you have? And sometimes, guys, the victories aren't just in the standings. Sometimes the victories are at home and in personal goals and things like that. I can't get behind either one full-heartedly yet until I see what condition he's in. Is he rushing back? If they have the best doctors there are, in Washington and in the NFL. So I'd be interested to see kind of if anybody has their eyebrow raised a little bit as to his situation or not. I haven't heard otherwise, but that documentary was gruesome, and I forget who said it, but you had to fast forward through it. I think EB kind of toasted that. It was disgusting. It's just gross. When your leg is in a brace like that, you should probably be on I don't even know if Monster.com is still in existence, but you should probably look for other places to invest your money or try to make more. That takes us to the question of the day, completely off topic of Alex Smith, even though he does have rivals and he will have rivals in Washington. What is your personal favorite rivalry in sports? It can be at any level, top, bottom, all the way down to the community ball level. Michael, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go college football, Ohio State, and that team up north because it's called The Game. Those two teams hate each other more than anything. Ohio State is not even, allowed. It's an unwritten rule. You're not allowed to say the name of the Wolverines that play you guys know where. I think that you name it The Game for a reason. There's no reason to not think that this is, I think, the greatest rivalry in college football, and it's my favorite rivalry in all of sports.
Love it. All right, Jamie, I know where you're going to go.
Between Carolina and Duke or Ohio State and Michigan, but I had one out. I had to grab my stat sheet that I got from when I was in Carolina to watch them play Duke. The atmosphere there, it's just bananas. It really is. It's a whole nother level, and that's why, for me, it's Duke Carolina. Plus, it's always a back-and-forth battle. You don't see just one team constantly beating the hell out of the other year after year after year.
All right, let's go to the other side of that coin. Quinn, your thoughts?
Kentucky, Louisville.
Ooh.
Best rivalry in sports.
Ooh, mic drop. Your turn there, BHA.
Gonna go with Yankee and Boston. The Yankee and Red Sox rivalry is pretty intense year in and year out. You see that being more competitive than Ohio State and the team up north is.
I respect that. EB, your thoughts?
I'm gonna shove it down to the high school level. Being from Columbiana, everyone wanted to beat us, and
you
when
guys
it
don't
came
have one rivalry.
We don't. We have Palestine, we have Latonia, we have Crestview. Obviously, Crestview kind of is no longer a rivalry because we don't play, which is, we won't get into that, but it's a bunch of shit. It's one of those things. Fortunately for me, I got to be in both locker rooms for Columbiana Crestview, so I got to see it from the black and gold standpoint, and I played at Columbiana, so I got to feel that mix of emotions from both different locker rooms. And that week, granted, nowadays everyone's buddy, but I guess 15, 20 years ago, yeah, we were all friends, but there's still nothing quite like just the intensity and getting ready for that game. You warm up a little bit harder, you go a little bit harder in practice, you know what's at stake because it's all bragging rights. Same goes for Palestine, same goes for when we played Latonia. Those are three of my rivals that, it didn't matter what the records were because anybody could beat anyone. You knew the people wanted to come kick the shit out of you. Players will get dirty with it. They'll try to antagonize it. And even now, coaching over at Salem and West Branch is a great rivalry.
Love it. Richie, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm Ohio State and the team up north. I've been to the game the last 2 years. I already have my tickets for the game this year if we could go. So the atmosphere is nothing you've ever seen before. It's crazy. The hype around it, the tailgates, the stadium packed. Everybody's, anticipating every snap. Nothing beats it.
Ty, your take?
To go a little bit off of what EB said and go more towards high school level, with me being a Falcons announcer, I would definitely say the Austintown Pitch Falcons and the Boardman Spartans is one of the best rivalries to call in any of the sports that they play, but primarily football and basketball are two of the greatest games to watch because both teams are usually pretty competitive in both football and basketball every year, and it's always a fun game to watch.
And if the next answer isn't dogs versus cats, I don't know what is.
Yeah. No, I mean, mine's a given if anybody knows me well enough. It's Florida State, Miami. For me, that game is the game every year to watch. And, I mean, down that area, you have a lot of those kids who are from the Miami area go to Florida State and vice versa. So those kids have played high school football against each other, and then they get to go play in the biggest rivalry, one of the biggest ones in the country for college football. On the local level, for me personally, Springfield South Range. I mean, you didn't like the Tigers, still don't like the Tigers, so.
And the Tigers don't like you. So that's
DJ, I propose we make a rivalry this year and it's Lisbon, Columbiana in boys basketball. Brother Bowl 2.0. Todd Johnson versus brother-in-law Chris Huxhold. Let's do the whole thing. Let's get the shirts. Let's
Well, it's
really
usually
do.
the cancer game, and that's why it's so cool because we kind of blow it up out of respect of the brother-in-laws, and then of course it's for a good cause as well. So brother-in-laws for a cause, I think, would be a perfect kind of type for that. I'm all for it. I'm all in. The Lisbon. I mean, we had the hype video and we had everything that go with it, and it's still one of the top rated videos on YSN. So if
And
we
Quinn
can get
said
some,
just as many words in that as he does on this. So
yeah, absolutely, he sure did. For mine, I'm going to go off the reservation a little bit with my rivalry. It's one that I will always love. It might not always be there per se, but it's the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers. When those two teams and organizations meet in the playoffs, it is ugly, ugly, ugly. I mean, I remember the knockout punch where there was a hush to the crowd by Max Talbot. It was awesome, unbelievable. Just that kind of stuff is what got me into hockey as just a casual viewer and kind of sold me all in. So the Pens versus the Flyers is where I'm at on that. There's a ton you can choose from. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow to hear the rest of YS Nation. I know we're going to get a lot of Ohio State versus the team up north. I know we're going to get a lot of locals, which I'm excited for. I love hearing about the local rivalries. We're not always in on all the rivalries, you know what I mean? So especially as we continue to grow, I think we will get there. But right now, we're just kind of learning about the tradition, the rivalries that kind of come with the territory. Guys, Notre Dame, let's talk about it. It is official. They have bucked this for the longest time. Officially, they are going to join the ACC schedule in football from the sounds of it, just for the year. I think the ACC missed the boat on this. I think they could have brought them in for maybe a 5-year deal, but they are only going to be for the year. If you're the ACC, is this a good move for you, or should you keep them at arm's length because they've done the same thing to every conference forever? Michael, we'll start with you.
I don't know. I don't think the ACC is the best conference to put Notre Dame in because look where Notre Dame lies. It lies in the heart of the Big Ten. 3 words to describe Notre Dame about them joining the ACC. They are scared of the Big Ten. They want to join the worst Power 5 conference in football so that they can seem like they're in a Power 5 conference, have a decent schedule. I mean, you're going to face Clemson. Maybe Florida State has a couple of wins going into that game. Miami, Florida. Notre Dame's flat out scared of the Big Ten. They don't want to face the powerhouses in Ohio State, Penn State. Worst Power 5 conference.
The worst Power 5 conference?
The ACC? Absolutely.
Don't they have
one team?
They have Clemson.
The team that beat Ohio State.
Okay, that doesn't make them the best conference.
The Big Ten's pretty balanced.
In football, they're not the worst conference. They have one team.
Big Ten is definitely.
Does one team make you the best conference? Does one team make you a great conference?
There's only one team in the
Doesn't the Big Ten have Rutgers?
Huh?
Doesn't the Big Ten have Rutgers?
Every conference has those teams that are.
Every conference has those teams. Exactly,
Let's be
Richie.
honest.
You can't argue with Ohio State fans because you guys think you're always right.
I'm not saying did I say the Big Ten was the best conference?
USC?
I did not.
Oh my god!
I said the ACC
I thought we play
the worst Power 5
Hold up,
conference.
hold up.
Why do you like USC?
Because Pete Carroll, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart,
Okay.
and they have pretty cute
that's-
cheerleaders.
You ever been there?
No, I haven't because it's in California. So I'm not
Yeah,
going.
there you go.
He's been to USC in Pittsburgh, Upper St. Clair, but a little bit different. A little bit different.
But yeah,
Listen. I'm with you. You're welcome, and you're entitled to your opinion. However, I don't think we need to bash the ACC and say they're the worst Power 5 conference because when you have a national champion, I think it proves a little bit different, right? I don't think you can have a national champion that comes out of a weak conference. Am I wrong?
No, you
They
can't.
did. They didn't win the national championship in 2019-20 season, if I'm not correct. They won it. They won a couple national championships. I'm not saying the ACC is a weak conference at all.
Hey, Ohio State fans, the last time you played Clemson twice, who won both times?
The last time Ohio State played USC, please tell me who won.
I didn't know I was coming next.
Ohio State? Was it Ohio
Hey,
State?
USC,
Yeah,
tell me the last
that's
time you were relevant.
with JT
That's
Barrett
okay.
against Sam Darnold. So
And who's playing in the NFL right now? Not JT. Sam Donald. You're welcome.
Who has the most defensive back success in the NFL currently, and defensive line success in the NFL?
LSU. Maybe LSU. Maybe Alabama.
No.
Who has the highest paid defensive edge rusher in the NFL right now?
Highest paid?
Yeah.
What does that matter?
About the big money contract.
Yesterday. That has nothing to do with it. It's just the whole point. The last time Ohio State played Clemson, the last 2 times, and they got blown out of the water. The one time, and then they just lose over here. Had a 14-0 lead. What happened?
I can get behind this comment. Hey, hold on. I can get behind this comment saying that it's about time they joined a conference. The ACC is weak in football outside of Clemson. I can get behind that. Does not make them the weakest of the Power 5 by far.
No.
It does not. Listen, does not. It just end all be all. They are not the weakest of the Power 5. I think there's one. I think we can all agree the Big Ten is pretty doggone good. The SEC is pretty doggone good. There's 5 layers of mud, and then there's everybody else, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's just go with that. Okay. Moving on to the next person. Guys, look at this. JB, your thoughts, please.
I think it's good that the ACC is letting Notre Dame in. I mean, I know you guys were kind of looking at like force them into a 5-year deal, but why not let them come in? All the games are going to be on ACC Network, so you're getting money from them. Plus, Notre Dame was scheduled to play a whole bunch of ACC opponents anyway, and they're kind of going to go through a bit of a gauntlet. They do have to play Clemson. They do have to play North Carolina, and I know ACC apparently not that good, which I'll agree they aren't, but they're still facing the toughest team in the ACC. They're not just giving them the cakewalk.
Power Hour overtime. Paul Munson, Captain Chaos, go.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, my thing would be I'd like to know, are they getting some of their NBC money? You know, I mean, that would be a good question there, because that's one of the biggest reasons that Notre Dame's never joined a conference, is because they don't want to share revenue. Whenever they get to go to a bowl game, they keep all that money themselves. Whereas when other schools go, they have to share that money throughout their conference. And Notre Dame's always had that NBC television deal that they get to keep all to themselves. I'd like to know, are they going to, share some of that money with the ACC, or is it, hey, just come play in our league for a year so you can do it? Because Notre Dame realized real quick, with all these other schools saying, hey, our non-conference games are pretty much not going to happen now. You've got to play conference games. Notre Dame's an independent school. They lost almost all their games, and they're like, well, we need to do something pretty quick. And I agree, they were probably afraid of the Big Ten, but to piggyback on that, ACC is not the worst Big 5 conference at all. I mean, being a Florida State fan, Virginia Tech's good, Virginia's good in there, North Carolina, there's some good schools in there. Everybody's got their dogs that everybody wipes the floor with, but I mean, to say they're the worst of the 5, I think there's some other conferences out there that have got worse teams. So,
Ty Bartell.
Honestly, I think it's about time that they do join a conference. I feel like if you're going to be competing in that kind of level, that they should have been in a conference. And also to comment on Bezos down there, you're so all over the place with the teams you like. I wouldn't even be surprised if you rooted for Italy in the Olympics, because
throw dirt on it. Throw dirt on it.
USC over in California.
We got Mike that's digging the hole, and Ty's throwing dirt on the body. Richie, take it.
I usually like Notre Dame's schedule, how they kind of get to pick and choose. They always play a really tough schedule, and it's always interesting to see that they get to pick from different conferences around the country. So it's going to be weird for them to play in one region of the country over in the ACC, but I guess it'll be interesting to see how they play in a set schedule.
EB.
I like this for ACC and Notre Dame. If you're ACC, you've been looking for that team that actually strengthens your conference. So you have Notre Dame, who jumps in since 2014. They've been like 18-7 against ACC teams, which is second best compared to Clemson. And then also, if you're Notre Dame, it gives you a chance. It gives you a chance to you get at the top of that league to where you should probably be. So really you're worrying mostly about Clemson. And it also gives you some more roots in the recruiting trail as well. So now instead of, yes, you're in Indiana, you worry more a little Midwest or where your recruiting roots are at. Now you can get down into the Southern Hemisphere a little bit and, hopefully pull some of these athletes from Florida, Georgia, and get them into your program. Like you said to start it off, the only thing that the ACC dropped the ball on is I would have got them either in a 3-year or a 5-year contract.
Dalen Brennan?
No, that was us. You're right. Didn't know who you were talking there. I go. I think
Yeah,
it's
we know
I think it's
Bakos
terrible.
isn't going to Notre Dame. It's okay.
No, it's a terrible idea. You know what? If Notre Dame didn't want to be in a conference last year and the year before that, you know what? Tough crap. You don't get football this season, Notre Dame. Be in a conference like everything else. You guys are just little greedy people over there at Notre Dame. You think you're a big old whole Catholic school. Haven't won a national championship since Lou Holtz left, by the way, and won't win a national championship. So don't come play in the ACC.
Quinn, before we get to your take, can you correctly spell? We tried to do the growler spelling again before the show.
G-O-W-L-E-R. No,
That's not what it.
G-R-A-W-L-E-R. That's what I spelled it. No, you spelled it G-O. Good God.
Before the show, it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Quinn. It was Growley is how he spelled growler.
Yeah.
So we
Hey,
still
it's
can't
not-
figure it out.
No, I forgot about it.
Quinn, take us home.
So the only thing I'm curious about, like, is with Notre Dame, because they joined the ACC and everything else. They're already in the ACC. So I'm kind of curious as to if there's like some unwritten deal or whatever that if Notre Dame's going to join a conference in football, that it has to be the ACC because of all the other sports being in it. Because I mean, I can't imagine that you can get away with it being the ACC and everything, and then the Big Ten in football or whatever. I can't imagine that's a possibility. And I mean, I know that there's schools out there like Youngstown State, they do it. They're in the Horizon League for everything else, but that's because the Horizon League has no football. There's not a single team in that conference that has football. So they're forced to join a different conference for football. So I don't know if there's some kind of deal with the ACC where if they're going to join a conference, it has to be that conference.
I feel like Notre Dame's that kid who kind of makes his own rules in high school, and he lives by them. Jeff Bezos, yeah, you are Notre Dame of Columbiana and Mahoning counties.
That's terrible.
You make your own rules as you go, and it's whatever's best for Notre Dame at that time. So I'm interested to see how this plays out, because if it's one and done in the ACC, I think the ACC is going to have some hard feelings about this, and they might just kind of kick them out of the conference for kind of reverse skate a little bit on Notre Dame. Guys, tonight on YSN, of course, we have the 18U championship. It is game 4. It is do or die for the Astro Falcons. Can they tie the series, or will it be over? Creekside carrying the trophy at the end of the night. Richie Giuliano will have the call for us on ysnlive.com. And then on the other side, I've got a doubleheader from Boardman, the Field of Dreams, where we'll have the 10U championship and the 12U championship tonight on YSN. That coverage starts at 5:30. You can go to the youth baseball page and follow from there. Other than that, we are down to the G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef, guys? A lot of beef on the table here today. Michael, we'll start with you.
Don't start with me. I got to figure out a good one.
Okay, because this is the first time we've ever done this. Let's down to Captain Chaos.
Mine is with this supposed coin shortage that we have going on here in the country. Because last night I go to Sheetz to buy a couple Gatorades before I go umpire, and I walk in there with cash and I put it down, and the guy's like, "You don't have correct change. You either have to use your card or go find the correct change." So he forced me to use my debit card because I didn't have correct change to buy my Gatorades with. I was pretty upset with that. I'm thinking to myself, it was 22 cents. I had $4 and he needed $3.22. So just
Bitcoin,
a bunch of crap,
man.
this coin
Bitcoin.
shortage.
Appreciate it. Ty, your beef.
My beef is with Jeff Bezos and his spelling ability.
Dang! Keep sprinkling the dirt. Keep going. Richie.
Terrible.
I'm with Betos and USC. I don't know how you get all the way over to the Southern Coast and become a USC fan there.
EB, let's go to you.
So I have two beefs. One is Quinn went through half of my workout that I put my girls through, and then he quit because he couldn't do it, and it was actual physical activity.
That was living hell. Living hell.
And it works. Quinn, look at my players that I work with. Look at my players. I mean, it's worked pretty well for Molly Howard. I think a lot of people can agree.
I'm not denying that.
And also my other beef is Columbiana County being bumped up to orange and what these factors are, because I went through my source being WKBN and also ohio.gov or whatever it is. Columbiana did not meet any expectations on the ICU admissions, and they're trending -1 deaths, which I don't understand that. So either people were born with COVID or we're just not counting it.
Well, maybe it was they credited us one, and then we got one on the comeback. So
yeah, so
they thought he was gone.
As of today, when I left my office at 1:30, we had 17 new cases since last week, 0 deaths, and 1 death this whole month, and I think there's like 25 total hospital admissions. So give us a little play here on like a plus or minus 3 on like if your average is 59.1 and you're 59.2, just dude, give us round numbers. Like, come on, that's great. You and Fran take your walks, you enjoy your grandchildren, but figure the hell out what the hell's going on.
Jamie Thompson.
I'm going to go with vending machines that are either out of stock or just aren't working, but there's no sign on it. The button's not lighting up that it's out of stock, because I'm at Mill Creek yesterday. I find the vending machine. I was literally dying of thirst. So I put my money in, and I pressed the button. Nothing came out. There were no lights on. Like, everything was lit up, but it didn't say it was out of stock. Why the hell didn't my water come out? Well, obviously, I started heating the thing up, and I had to press the button, and eventually it spit out my change. But I didn't get my water, so I almost died of thirst.
The vending machine assassin is your new nickname. All right, Michael, did you figure something out?
Yes, I did. I'm going to go with Notre Dame because they are literally in the heart of the Big Ten. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this. And they won't join the Big Ten. I get that they're in the ACC for basketball. Why not join the Big Ten for basketball? I don't care if it's 15 teams in the Big Ten, and then that seems like that's very contradicting because it's the Big Ten, and there's 14 teams in there right now. Why not add a 15th? Because Notre Dame, that's a decent revenue. That's somebody that can bring in a lot of revenue. They're a big household name in the country, and they want to go over to the ACC because their only big opponents are probably going to be North Carolina, maybe a Florida State, and Clemson.
Prestige worldwide.
I love that. Michael, by the way, they're also kind of in the heart of the MAC, also to the Ball State. So
well, I mean, they're a Power 5 conference, though. They're a Power 5 team.
MAC too.
They're a Power 5 team.
My beef's with Eric. Not only does he make that impossible workout for me, that was living hell. But I'm speaking for every one of his teams. He has no water breaks. They need water breaks.
Uh-oh.
They get water breaks.
He gives water breaks, but they need more.
They had 2.
Way to backpedal on that one there, Pushkar. Appreciate that. We don't want EB to be put behind bars by Governor DeWine. All right, we go to Jeff. Whoa! Captain Chaos was just attacked by Henry.
Whoa!
The neighbor.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Betos Hitting Academy.
His name is Emery.
Oh, Emery.
Well, you had your beef already. Be quiet up there.
Hey, you know what? My beef would be with you.
Okay.
You are giving South Range such a horrible name for the education that you supposedly took away from them.
Hey, I did not do good in spelling class. Everyone knows that, all right? But no, my beef is
He just pushed you through.
Oh, jeez, Paul, you had the floor. You got it. We did not, Paul. Mute the mic. Okay. Is he good now? So my beef is with everybody that doesn't follow YSN. Why not come and follow the best internet company in the valley? So you take a mental vacation.
Kiss ass you
Follow
are.
us. Oh, is that Paul? You Paul. Fornicate yourself, Paul. Fornicate.
Spell. Wait. Spell fornicate.
Spell it, Jeff.
If you can't spell it, you can't say it. Here it is. Fornicate.
I can say it. Pat can't spell it either. I can say it. Fornicate. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying.
Spell it. You got one shot. Otherwise, you can't finish your beef. One shot.
Let's go. Hooked on phonics. Let's hear it.
Look at he's sweating.
FORNICATE.
Somebody just typed it.
Nope.
He definitely just read
Quinn did.
He just completely typed it.
Right there.
Nope. Cheating. All right, you
there.
guys are on mute. You're out.
No, I want to see Paul and Betos fight.
That is unbelievable. Well, we still got the baseball challenge coming up, so don't forget about that. And thank you for staying with us here on YSN Power Hour Overtime. Quickly, my beef is just kind of piggyback off of Jeff Betos. Anybody that's not tuning into YSN right now, shame on you, because we are killing it on everything. The announcing, the players, from 10 years old all the way up to 18, 19 years old. We are the only thing going here in the Valley for sports right now, for live sports. So make sure that if you don't know about us or someone doesn't know about YSN, make sure you tell them, because again, this isn't a play for us. This is a play for you. We are literally the only spot to get sports right now. You've got one more night, maybe 2 more nights of baseball before everything gets shut down again. So get it while you can is all I'm saying. So that's my G Burbick Farms What's Your Beef, brought to you by G Burbick Farms. Visit them on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of today. Of course, tomorrow, 3 to 4, once again, we will have a pop-up power hour from the Raider Golf outing. Excited for that, Paul? Yes, please go ahead.
No, that's what I was going to say. We're at the pop-up tomorrow because we'll all be at the golf outing, so.
The majority of us will, yes, but we will still have some that will not be there. So make sure that you guys are still here. We will be live from the Flying Bee, I believe, out there. So make sure that you tune in for that. A lot of maybe some special guests there. I know Coach Yeagley's going to be there. Maybe we'll grab some other South Range talent and coaches that are at that outing. So until next time, guys, let's say see you later.
Cheers.